The Orlando Magic's Franz Wagner went down with a high ankle sprain this past week. Now, the injury itself looked a lot worse than it ended up being. I think like the top comment on a lot of the reports was like, is this dude like a Terminator? Is he made of vibranium? Like, it is kind of crazy. He'll be out 2 to 4 weeks, it looks like, which is a pretty good report back for what the injury could have been. But this does leave the Magic in a scenario where they are without the player that has been their best player this season. And now the responsibility shifts to the guy who I believe should be their best player this season, or at least should have been so far this season, Paolo Banchero. Now, if you guys don't know, me and Corby have very different opinions about Paolo. At the beginning of this year, I said that I believed Paolo would be an all-NBA first team, and Corby said he believed Paolo was the third best player on his own team. Now, that is a very wide range, and you could disagree with both of those opinions, but I think we're here to defend both of those opinions today. So, Corby, starting it off, I want to hear your thoughts on Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic's performance with him as their best player.
I think they're going to fall off a cliff. I think they'll start losing games. I do want to correct what you're saying, though. I have changed my opinion a little bit on that. I don't think Paolo Banchero is the third best player on the Magic. I think he is like a 2A, 2B kind of thing with Desmond Bane. Because Desmond Bane has not been... He's had some good games recently, some good performances. By the way, Desmond Bane is a real weirdo if you've been watching what he's been doing this season. Have you seen what's been going on?
I've seen he's been fighting with people.
So earlier when they played the Hawks, this was a couple weeks ago, Desmond Bane like threw the ball at like Onyeka Okongwu's head after a foul. That was weird. And then recently he did the almost exact same thing. It kind of looked like Desmond Bane was a little bit off balance, like he was going to go out of bounds, and he just threw it off the other team's head. Not head, but like the other team's body. But he was nowhere near going. So pretty much Desmond Bane is just trying to randomly start fights with people. I just think that's kind of weird. I just wanted to point it out. But yeah, 2A, 2B, Paolo Banchero as the lead, in my opinion, he is like his perfect player comp right now to me is a Knicks Julius Randle. That's what I see. I see a guy who isn't that efficient as a scorer. He's actually worse as a defender and rebounder than a Julius Randle on the Knicks. Right now this season, he's been shooting 45.5% from the field, which matches exactly what he did last year. And last year he wasn't very efficient. Whenever he has the ball in his hands, the offense is very stagnant. Like Paolo does need the ball in his hands to be efficient. And I think if you are one of those players, you have to be really, really good. So far, that has not been him. He has been literally the same as last season. And I don't think he was that good last season. Clearly, you have different opinions. You thought he was, an all-star, should have been a superstar kind of caliber player. I don't think his defense is that good. His playmaking isn't that good, especially when you compare him to other star power forwards like a Giannis, like when it comes to passing, like a Zion, like a Jalen Johnson. Like he is now a tier below all of those guys. You were saying that he should be an all-NBA player this season, and I'm wondering, do you still believe in that? Because there's, in my opinion, the season's still early. He's only played like 17 games, I think, or 14 games, because he did just sit out a bunch, and he has been on a little bit of a minutes restriction in these last couple games, but he has been the same player. Is that what you've seen?
I mean, I will say that I don't believe that he should be all NBA first team anymore, mostly because you need that.
Did you say first team?
I did say first
That's
team.
ridiculous.
I did, yeah. And you know what? I'll stand by that. I said that. I'll stand by the fact that I'm going to be wrong about that, because there's no way he makes all NBA first team now after missing like games to start the season and having a slow start. Those first 20 games are so important for the for all NBA, all star, all of that stuff. That being said, I do believe he still will be an all NBA player, even if it's just third team. And I guess I could understand what you're saying about his numbers not going up. I could understand what you're saying about him looking the same. I think he's been injured this year. I think he's been trying to find a rhythm with a new team, essentially, because, I mean, a lot of these guys have been hurt in the past with the Magic. Like Jalen Suggs is not a guy who has been healthy consistently for the Magic. Desmond Bane is the new, face on the Magic that is going to take a lot of shots and take a lot of adjustment, right? Franz's game fits better into that adjustment than Paolo's does, but I don't think that means that Paolo is a worse player than Franz or that he doesn't fit as well into the system. I think it just takes a little more time, and I think this is actually going to be a great opportunity for Paolo to really learn how to play with Desmond Bane, because when in his career has he ever played with that type of guy before? A guy that is like an elite catch and shoot player and can create his own shot off of like one or two dribbles. You talk about Paolo being ball dominant, and yes, he is ball dominant. And I don't think that works when he's playing next to Franz as well, because they're both decently ball dominant guys.
Paolo is another level of ball dominant compared to Franz.
But I feel
also, like Paolo has played with a guy like Desmond Bane. He's played with Desmond Bane. The first 7 or 8 games of the season before Paolo got hurt, the Magic sucked. They only started winning.
Corby,
took over the top.
I get it, like 7, 8 games, whatever, it didn't look good. Kyrie and Luka missed the playoffs their first year together, and they played like 20 games together. And then the next year they went to the finals. So sometimes there's an adjustment period, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. Everyone was saying after that first year of Luka and Kyrie, this is stupid. This will never work. Two super ball dominant guys in the backcourt together. This is never going to work. And then guess what? They went to the NBA finals. So you're
on a whole level of inconsistency, because when this same exact thing happens with Trae Young in the first 5 games, all of a sudden now the Hawks are a better team without Trae Young.
You said the same thing too.
No, if I said that, I didn't actually mean it, or I just changed my mind. I kind of forget what I was thinking then, but they are better off trading Trae Young for assets for better assets that complement the Hawks right now. But right now, as it stands, the Hawks are better with Trae Young. Those first 5 games are not moving.
I would agree, and I would agree with that.
It didn't sound like it. The way that you were passionately talking about it.
No, I agree with that now, because at that point in time, I thought that Dyson Daniels could actually be a viable offensive point guard. And I have since discovered that Dyson Daniels is in fact Dyson Daniels, which means that he is an incredible defender, and he is a very, very tertiary option as a scorer.
Abysmal.
Genuinely, I mean, you look at the looks that Trae was getting him, they were much better, and he was just missing them. And then it was this weird dynamic where like it shifted, where Trae got hurt, and at the same time Dyson got more efficient. I don't think those two things are connected anymore after watching more of Dyson's game. I think he just happened to start making shots at that time, and I think if Trae came back and started setting him up well, he would make those shots.
Because Trae was setting up very well. But we need to get off the Hawks, though.
We can get off the Hawks. Yes. That was too small a sample size to judge Trae Young off of. I will admit that now. And I think this is too small a sample size to judge Paolo off of. I think Paolo is a guy who, does work best in that sort of like heliocentric role, right? I think...
But you're saying it's justified because he is a top 15 player in the league. And by the way, you saying... So obviously with the injuries, making All-NBA third team does not mean you're a top 15 player. Most likely, it might mean top 20 to 25 that can stay healthy enough, which, by the way, Paolo hasn't stayed healthy. So we'll see if he makes an All-NBA team. But essentially, you're saying that he's to this point, he has not been an All-NBA player.
Yeah.
Right? So he's not only got to play like an All-NBA player, he's got to play like more than that.
Yeah.
You think that obviously he's going to be playing better with Franz out because he gets to dominate the ball more and all that kind of stuff. In these next 2 to 4 weeks, we don't know how long actually Franz will be out. What is he doing? You tell me. Who is he? Who is Paolo Banchero?
28, 10, and 7.
28, 10, and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want. What are the splits? What is he shooting? I might write this down.
48, 35, 73.
48,
35, 73.
Okay. So just by the way, you are predicting him to take a leap because he has never shot that from the field in his career.
I am predicting
he has never shot that from 3 in his career. He has never done this.
Listen, Paolo Banchero.
This is the time because he has Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane is going to elevate Paolo Banchero.
Yes,
like a KCP or like whatever other shooting guard they had couldn't.
Yes.
Interesting. And then when Franz comes back.
When Franz comes back, I hope that Paolo in these 2 to 4 weeks establishes that the team should be organized around him in terms of how the plays are run, in terms of how the offense is run. And I would hope that it shows that Franz can move to a more secondary role as a ball handler and scorer instead of this shared responsibility that they have. Or that they could just have one of Franz or Paolo on the floor at all times. Because I think having them both on the floor at the same time doesn't do a ton for your offense. I will admit that. I think...
Honestly, it kind of hurts their defense because Franz, I'd say, is like an above-average defender, but he's not amazing. Paolo, slightly below, but he's not bad or anything.
Yeah.
But like every other Magic player is such a good defender that you kind of... It is kind of better. Honestly, and even someone who is praising Franz is better without Paolo.
Mm-hmm.
And Paulo's better without Franz.
Yeah,
I just think this duo is so different from a Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown duo that I'm not like suggesting they trade one of them, but this probably would be better.
It would be better. And I actually just had this thought because we were talking about the Hawks. I mean, I wouldn't even be mad at Trae Young going to the Magic and then one of like Paolo or Franz going to the Hawks. And I'd imagine it would probably be Franz because I'd imagine the Hawks would hold on to Paolo. I think that would work well for both teams. It's not something I want to get into too much. But yes, I do agree that Paolo and Franz work better when they are separate from each other and that they don't work as well together as teammates. However, I do believe we've seen seen this work in recent years. We've seen Luka and Kyrie work. We've seen Austin Reeves and Luka work. We've seen Luka and LeBron work. These types of dynamics can work. It just has to be coached well, and it has to be coached in a way that allows each guy to dominate their own possessions.
But also you're talking about these duos. Paolo Banchero is not Luka Doncic.
No. I'm not saying
even you're not saying that.
I'm not saying
Paulo.
So
it's hard for me to put really them in that tier. They can work together.
I'd say it's more comparable right now, Paulo and Franz, to like LeBron and Austin Reeves. I would say that is a fairly decent comparison, except LeBron is obviously a much better passer than Paulo is right now, and that's what you hope Paulo would be able to develop. But I feel like it can work together. I feel like Paulo would either have to become a better three-point shooter, or Franz would have to relegate to a little bit more three-point shooting, catch and shoot wise. But I do feel like it can work. I feel like the Lakers are kind of the blueprint when you look at how do we have these three stars that are all kind of ball dominant in their own way work together and each have their own, piece of the pie. And I think you can look at that and say, okay, if Paulo performs over the next 2 to 4 weeks, like I personally believe he will, then we legitimately have a foundation in order to enact that sort of system on our team.
And I understand that, but also it's hard. It's just hard to compare those two trios when Luka is so much better than the first option on the Magic, and Reeves is so much better than the third option. Or you could say LeBron's so much better than Desmond Bain. If you want to say LeBron's the third option.
Yeah.
If you want to say Reeves is even a lot better. And we have our opinions on Reeves. I have my opinions on Reeves. I mean, I think he's legit.
I agree that they are better or offensively. Like, I agree that they're better offensive trio, but the Magic are a defensive team anyway. You don't need as much offense.
That's true. What's the gap between Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero?
The gap? I think it's the same.
So are you saying Paulo's a top 15 player, or you're saying that because...
So I'd say Paulo's a top 20 player, and Franz is a top 35 player.
So Franz is not an all-star. Everyone
no, wait.
League,
no, all-star's 15.
Well, all-star's 13.
All-star's
it is top 26
So
player.
but I'd say Paulo is an all-NBA level player, and Franz is an all-star level player. I'd say that's the gap. I don't feel like that's ridiculous to say.
I mean, I think it is ridiculous to say. I think that's a pretty crazy take. So how do you justify the Magic being so much better with Paulo being out and with Franz playing? And do you think that, I guess, are the Magic with Franz real and Paulo elevates them, or was that a fake run? And then
genuinely, I think the Magic without one of Franz or Paulo are better than the Magic with both of them at this current moment in time.
So their record's only going to go up.
Yes. That's what I think. I think their record will continue to go up without Paulo, and I think their success this season will be more determined by coaching and how you can get those two guys to work together than it will be by simply Paulo or Franz's individual talent level.
Okay. I mean, we don't have to go on about this for 20-25 minutes, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the Orlando Magic schedule. And I want you to tell me, I'm just going to list the teams they have to play. And let's say at minimum, Franz misses 2-3 weeks. Let's say that's 10 games or whatever. Okay. I know with the Cup, that's going to be pretty weird. By the way, who do you have? Okay, who do you have? Who do you have for the Cup?
Who do I have for the Cup? Who do you think I have for the Cup?
Yeah, the Magic?
I have the Thunder.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. I meant tonight.
Oh, tonight?
So tonight, the Magic and the Heat play.
Magic and the Heat. I got the Magic. The Heat have been on a cold streak, and I think the Magic can come out tonight. I think this is the perfect opportunity for Paulo to come out and really, like, honestly, I'm going to be very disappointed even if he has like a good next couple of weeks after this, because this is the opportunity for Paulo on a more national scale. You're playing in the NBA Cup, which, whatever your opinion on it, it is a more national scale than these other games. And he's got an opportunity to really show something in terms of being a true number one option against a Miami Heat team that has been pretty good this year. I think this is his opportunity to have a little bit of a coming out party, if you can really have one of those as a fourth year player. He's a fourth year player, right? Yeah, fourth year player who's like well established in the league and people know who you are. This is an opportunity, and I think he should take advantage of it, and I hope he does. But yeah, I got the Magic tonight.
Okay, well, I am looking at it, by the way, right now. They are a 1-point favorite, the Magic, $5. We got to do it for the pod.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's no way that Paolo Banchero leads the Orlando Magic to a win against Khalil Ware, against Bam Adebayo, against these bigs. I don't think he's getting anything he wants.
Let's do it.
And let's do it.
I think he leads them to 6-3, because then they go Bulls, Pacers, Wizards, Nets. Oh, so I think they'd be 10-3 at the end of that stretch. I'd hope, at least.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Let's say 10-3. I could probably, if I'm just gonna go ahead and give a guess.
I'd say
Let's
9-4. I'd be happy with, but
Let's say, Franz returns versus the Sixers on January 9th because they're probably going to play it safe. They are a playoff team.
yeah. I mean,
That is an easy stretch. I'll probably give them
even
how many games? So 9-4, so 13 games.
even after that, they play the Sixers, then the Pelicans, Grizzlies again, Hornets. Like they could really be safe. They could really be safe with Franz depending on how this team is going.
I'll go 7-6. Because I think you listed 13 games. I'll say 7-6. I think obviously that they'll be above 500. Not only are the Magic good, but they are playing some bum ass teams.
Yeah.
But those tough games, I don't think Paul was built for it.
I feel like he should average like 30 over this stretch. I mean, I said 28, 10, and 7. I'd be happy with like 38, 10, and 6. Sorry, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, not 38, 30. Okay, chill. 30, 30, 10, and like 6, 5.5 over this stretch. 10 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 6 assists, whatever. Then they play the Pacers, Bulls, Pacers, Wizards. Like there should not be many guys over this stretch that can actually guard Paolo. So yeah, this is either going to be very vindicating or very damning of my opinion about Paolo Banchero over this next stretch, because if Paolo Banchero is the guy I believe he is, he should perform well over the stretch. And if Paolo Banchero is the guy you believe he is, if he performs like average or below average over this stretch and the team does as a result, then yeah, I don't know how much more I can defend him, honestly.